Hi everyone and welcome back to the channel, and hi if you're new here. I'm Jade and it's time for the TBR jar. If you've watched my videos before, you probably know I really enjoy doing this. There's just the excitement of having, some surprise with the jar. I look forward to seeing what I'm going to be reading next month. So I am filming this a little early in the month, I will say, but I just kind of want to get ahead a little bit on things that are easy to film because I've got a busy few weeks coming up. My business is getting busier, and I just have a few things coming up like an Air Force ball and a Renaissance fair and all these things that I'm planning on going to, and they're all like super close together. And on top of that, I've got my 2 book clubs to meet in person over the next, I think, less than 2 weeks. And so, yeah, it's a little crazy for me right now. So it has been a very, very busy month already. My dad came to visit from the UK, which was amazing. But obviously, I'm a little bit behind on my reading because I really, invested my time into spending it with my dad while he's here. So I didn't want to just go off reading my book. So I was kind of just reading a couple of chapters in bed before going to sleep. So I have been very, very slow this month. And we are, I think, about halfway through the month. And I have only completed 3 books so far, so I am a little behind where I would usually be. And obviously, I've got the TBR for this month from my last TBR video to get completed, and other books that I just want to read that I know I want to read this month, and for book clubs and things like that. So I am going to be sticking just to the usual 3 books for next month, especially because there are quite a lot of full books I want to read and just other books on my radar. But I'm going to stick with the 3 that I usually pick and add them to my TBR because I do like having that mix and excitement. I will admit, if I can squeeze one of the ones that I know I want to read next month into one of these prompts, I might do that this time. I often try not do that too much because I do use this to vary my reading, but as I said, I've got a very, very busy few weeks still coming up before things calm down. So I feel like I could do with that break. Let me stop talking your ear off. I know I talk too much. I'm sorry. But let me get the jar and see what we get. So here is my trusty TBR jar. It just looks so empty. It's so massive, but I do like the fact that I can really get my hand in there and like dig around, which is quite cool. Because I think I did put like 70 prompts in here or something. So there is a lot in here. It just looks so empty. But it is time to pick the first one. So let me pick. A blue one. Okay, it says white cover. Did I have this before? I feel like I've had this one recently, but I mean, it's what came up. I probably should just keep them out for a while after I've done it, but I don't. I put them back in. So, yeah, white cover. Let's see what there is. Okay, I actually don't have as many white covers as I thought. Spark of the Everflame sticks out. But yeah, that's why I know I got that prompt before, because I remember explaining why I couldn't read Spark of the Everflame. And that's because I'm going to buddy read it with my friend Nicole. We often buddy read things together. We're currently slowly working through the Throne of Glass series. We sometimes break off and read other books in between and stuff, but we are working through that series. And then later we will move to the Spark of the Everflame series. So I can't pick that book. But I have found 2, which I think are quite white cover based. So let me show you the first one. Okay, the first one is The Cruel Prince by Holly Black. I was recently gifted this, so I don't know a lot about this series, but I've heard of it. I've heard good things about it. So yeah, I wouldn't mind diving into this one. I'll read you the blurb just so you know what this one's about. It says, Jude was 7 when her parents were murdered, and she and her 2 sisters were stolen away to live in the treacherous High Court of Fairy. 10 years later, Jude wants nothing more than to belong there, but many of the Fae despise humans, especially Prince Carden, the youngest and wickedest son of the High King. To win a place at the court, Jude must defy him and face the consequences. So yeah, obviously fancy fairies. Sounds quite dramatic. Right up my street. And then the second book I found, and you might laugh at this because it's a little bit different, is Do Puddles Eat Ponies? And it says, a horse seeks answers to life's fundamental questions. And to be honest, I was gifted this by the publisher. I don't really know much about it, but it sounds kind of funny. And I do have horses back in the UK with my family. I grew up with horses. So I do feel like this could be a really entertaining book for me. So it's a bit different. And it's definitely very white on the front, minus this little bar at the bottom. But yeah, it just kind of, when I looked at my pile, I was just like, white. It just stood out, But let me read you the blurb of this so you can see. So it says, Sheriff, an easily spooked Arabian, that's a type of horse in case you didn't know, is trying to find his life's calling. But between the truly terrifying dangers of everyday life and the strange hoofless beings that wave their tiny tentacles at his nose, it is proving a challenge. Barely do his newborn hooves touch the ground for the first time, and already he's in mortal danger. The world is full of monsters and mysteries as far as the eye can see. This hilarious, unusual, superbly imagined, illustrated novel for grown-ups who like horses is destined to be a hit with anyone who enjoys a little bit of ridiculous and a slightly cynical take on the subcultures that bind us. So yeah, I just think this could be really entertaining. It just sounds very different, and I do love horses, so this might be a good one. So for this white cover prompt, I think I'm going to go with this one just because it sounds really funny. And it mentions puddles, and it's been so wet here lately. Like, we have had so much rain in Kansas compared to usual. I'm not really complaining because last summer was unbearable this time of year. I remember at the end of August, it being like 40 degrees Celsius, which is, I want to say like 104 Fahrenheit. I could be wrong. It's around that. Okay, please don't get angry at me. I still haven't learned my Fahrenheit. It's so hard. But yeah, going with Do Puddles Eat Ponies. So this could be interesting. You will find out what I think of it in my reading wrap up of October. Okay, let's move on and pick prompt number 2. Oh my god, it was so hard to get hold of one for some reason. But I do have a pink one this time. Romance. Okay, so just a pure romance, which is my usual summer read, and of course I picked this now that I want fall and dark and thrillery type books, but that's why I do this jar, to make me read different things. So let me go through and find what I think is a pure romance. Okay, I'm not gonna lie, I kind of just picked out the first 2 books that I saw that I just knew were romance, pure romance, and I just picked them out and we're going to pick between them. So the first one I spotted, I think because it has the pink spine, it just screamed romance, and then I picked it out, is This Time It's Real by Anne Liang. Just a little bit of my thing with Anne Liang. I adored her book, A Song to Drown Rivers, last year, which is like her adult novel. Adored it. Got her newest, well, it might not be newest now, but in February, I think it was, or the end of January, she released another sort of YA book, which I didn't mind. But yeah, this is another one of her YAs for me to have a go at potentially. I like the fact that it has rain on the front cover, I'm not gonna lie. Like, it makes it feel more autumnal, even though it is a romance. I'll just quickly read the blurb so you know what it's about. So it says, can you fall in love for real with the whole world watching? When 17-year-old Eliza Lynn's essay about meeting the love of her life goes viral, her entire life changes overnight. Now she has the approval of her classmates at her new international school in Beijing, a career-launching internship opportunity at her favourite magazine, and a massive secret to keep. The truth is, Eliza's never been in a relationship before, let alone in love. All good writing is lying, right? Desperate to hide the truth, she strikes a deal with the famous actor in her class, the charming but aloof Kaz Song. She'll help him write his college applications if he poses as her boyfriend. Kaz is a dream boyfriend. He passes handwritten notes to her in class, makes her little sister laugh, and takes her out on motorcycle rides to the best snack stalls around the city. But when her fake relationship with Kaz starts feeling a little too convincing, all of Eliza's carefully laid plans are threatened. Can she still follow her dreams if it means breaking her own heart? So yeah, I guess like fake dating trope for this one. Sorry, my camera storage got full and I had to quickly delete a few things and set you back up, so sorry if the angle has slightly changed. But I was in the middle of talking about this book. So my second romance choice, because it stuck out because it's like pink and purple, was Check a Mate by Ali Hazelwood. And let me read you the blurb so you know what this one's about. Mallory Greenleaf is done with chess. Every move counts nowadays. After the sport led to the destruction of her family 4 years earlier, Mallory's focus is on her mum, her sisters, and the dead-end job that keeps the lights on. That is, until she begrudgingly agrees to play in one last charity tournament and inadvertently wipes the board with notorious king killer Nolan Sawyer, current world champion and reigning bad boy of chess. Nolan's loss to an unknown rookie shocks everyone, especially Mallory. What's even more confusing? His desire to cross pawns again. What kind of gambit is Nolan playing? The smart move would be to walk away, resign, game over. But Mallory's victory opens the door to sorely needed cash prizes, and despite everything, she can't help feeling drawn to the I can't talk today. enigmatic strategist. As she rockets up the ranks, Mallory struggles to keep her family safely separated from the game that wrecked it in the first place. And as her love for the sport she so desperately wanted to hate begins to rekindle, Mallory quickly realizes that the games aren't only on the board. The spotlight is hotter than she imagined, and the competition can be fiercely attractive and intelligent and infuriating. So I guess this is like rivals to lovers, and the other one is fake dating. So they are definitely both tropes that I have read quite a lot this year because I have been getting back into my romance, and I'm a bit like, oh, I don't know which one to pick because, you know, they're both tropes, as I said, that I've read quite a lot of this year. So if I hadn't have come across one much, I probably would have just gone for that. But yeah, I feel like I've read them probably both equally. But you know what? I did say it has rain on the cover, and it's been very wet outside here in Kansas, so you know what? This is fitting. I'm going with This Time Is Real by Anne Liang. Okay, so time for the third and final prompt for October. Ooh, a purple one this time. I don't feel like I get purple very often. An illustrated cover. The funny thing about this prompt is that both the books already picked could have worked for it. But I'm sure I have some more. Let me go and have a look. Okay, loads on there are illustrated covers, which I kind of expected. So I just picked out two that stuck out to me. They are a little bit like seasonal. I am going back to my ways a little, but you know, bear with me. Let me show you what I've picked. So the first one is the Cinnamon Bun bookstore, because that's definitely a little illustrated picture of a building down there. Now, I have stated that I am going to read this for my full TBR anyway. You know, whether it would have definitely been October or maybe November, I don't know. What I also like about it is not only is it fitting, but it also, you know, it kind of finishes off a series for me because I've read 1 and 3 and then I will do 2 and I don't know if I want to continue. But let me just tell you what it's about. When a secret message turns up in a hidden book in the Cinnamon Bun bookstore, Hazel can't understand it. As more secret codes appear between the pages, she decides to follow the trail of clues. She just needs someone to help her out. Gorgeous and outgoing fisherman Noah is always up for an adventure, and a scavenger hunt sounds like a lot of fun. Even better than the cute bookseller he's been crushing on for months is the one who wants his help. Hazel didn't go looking for romance, but as the treasure hunt leads her and Noah around the dream harbour, their undeniable chemistry might be just as hot as the fresh out of the oven cinnamon buns that the bookstore sells. Cute, cheesy, spicy little cute romance. Another one I pulled out was Bridget Knightley's The Irresistible Urge to Fall for Your Enemy, because I believe this was originally like a Harry Potter fan kind of fiction thing, changed to be its own release. It released quite recently, so I actually have the ARC copy, but the publisher who gifted this to me literally only delivered it like the day before release or something, so I just couldn't read it on time for release. But I feel like I should read it soon, as they were kind enough to send it to me, so it might be a good one to sort of just get on there and get read, because it feels just nice to do for the publisher, because I want to say it's come out end of August, I think. Actually, I'm wrong. I think this came out in July, but I didn't get it till August. So yeah, because I got it a bit late, I just didn't read it, but I feel like I still should. So this one is when Osric Mordaunt, member of the Friar Order, a society of assassins, finds himself sick with a degenerative disease. He needs the expertise of a very specific healer. As fate would have it, the healer is a member of an enemy order. Oriane Farim's Halen Order is overwhelmed with caring for thousands of sick and dying children, suffering from an almost forgotten disease that has suddenly re-emerged with extreme virulence. Unable to get the funding needed to help develop a vaccine, her order is desperate. So when Osric Mordaunt breaks into her office to offer her a bribe that would fund her order's immunization efforts in exchange for her healing services, the head of Halen commands Oriane to accept. Though they are enemies, as Osric and Oriane work together to cure his illness, they find themselves ardently denying an attraction which seems to only fuel the tension between them. So my belief is this was meant to be like a Hermione Draco fanfiction, I think. Maybe I'm thinking of a different book, but I'm pretty sure it was this one. And so therefore, you know, Harry Potter this time of year just kind of stuck out. And as I said, I probably should read this because the publisher gifted it kindly to me. So yeah, I think I'm just going to go with this one. I will be reading the Cinnamon Bun bookstore over the next couple of months, definitely anyway. So I am making it harder for myself. I'm not cheating and just picking things that I would have read anyway. But yeah, this is also quite a contrast, I think, to the others. Well, I mean, it's still got romance, I guess, but it's a fantasy too. So just a quick reminder of my picks. We have Do Puddles Eat Ponies for white cover. This Time It's Real by Anne Liang for romance, and The Irresistible Urge to Fall for Your Enemy for illustrated cover. And there we have it. That creates the beginning of my October TBR. Obviously, I will have ones from my book club that I will be probably joining in with and things like that. And there's just a few that I really want to get on my full TBR, which if you saw my full recommendations video, I mentioned a few in there that I plan to read as well. So yeah, I hope you've enjoyed watching what has been picked for my TBR this time. Let me know what's going to be on yours, especially any full recommendations, because I kind of want more. Like, even if I don't get time for it this time, I love hearing about full recommendations and having them lined up and on lists ready for the future. So please let me know, and I will see you again real soon. Bye.